This is Character Asked It. You already know Character Did It. I'm here with Nick Terra, bro. Tell us about yourself. What do you do?
I am a producer. I've been doing music for about 16 years, so little more than half my life. I've been working on producing, and I got into it early. Like I got into the studio with some guys who were like rappers when I was like way young, and I just started playing guitar on their tracks, and I kind of fell in love with the idea of making a full song, making a full piece, and it started with just guitar songs, but then I started learning like electro music and a little hip hop stuff, and I just kind of now I fuse it all together and try to do like a mix of everything.
That's awesome, man. How old are you?
31.
Okay. Where are you from?
The Bay Area is where I grew up and stuff, but I was born on the East Coast, so born in Philly, but I came out here when I was like 6, so I've been in the Bay Area ever since.
Okay, man. So 16 years ago, you were in a studio at 16 years old-ish, 17, 18 years old. How did you end up there? Because 16 years ago, not everybody was making music. Not everybody knew was going to studios. So how did that end up happening?
So it was actually a funny story. So my mom was friends with this Jamaican guy, and he was like in a reggae band. And his son was a rapper, and they tried to link us up like on some like family shit. And so he was like 21 or something, and I'm like, this is like the cool older kid, you know? Like I get to hang out with like a cool rapper dude.
Got to buck up a little bit.
I'm like, and I kind of bucked up a little bit, but like at the same time, they were very like, him and his friend who had the studio were very nice to me. Just like they were like, yo, this is our studio. Do you need like a soda? Like they treated me like family. So I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I like this environment that they can work with like a kid and it's not awkward or something. So I felt very comfortable off the bat. Like, and then when I started to play for them, that's when it really like clicked. Like there was some chemistry. Like I could play better in the eye when there was some other eyes in the room or something. Like something kind of came out of me that wasn't there when I was alone. So I loved that like collaboration energy.
Okay, so what was your upbringing like?
It was good. My dad was traveling, but I was kind of a mama's boy in a lot of ways. But he was a good role model. He was just very busy, like a workaholic type. And then, I had a younger sister. And, pretty good family and stuff. I can't say that it's always been easy, though. I mean, I've had my points when I was homeless and maybe using too much drugs and alcohol and stuff, and luckily came back from a lot of that. Just like still, it's a day-by-day thing, but I'm like trying to stay on the straight and narrow to be as productive as possible.
For sure, bro. For sure, man. We've all been through it, man. I was homeless for a little bit too, bro. It's not easy,
No shit.
but we get through it, man. We get through it.
Anyone who has been through that homeless struggle, like, and if anybody sees this who is going through it, there is a way out. Like if you believe in yourself and I think, what I would call like the higher power or whatever, like something can bring you back from that.
Absolutely, bro. You just gotta take it day by day, just literally step by step, day by day. That's all I did, and I'm out of it.
100%. Yeah, me too, man. I'm very glad to say.
What did you do after high school?
So right after high school, I took a little break from school. I was a little burned out on the whole public school thing. So I took like a year, maybe a year and a half to just move to Santa Cruz. There was this girl I was dating at the time. Shout out Christina. I haven't talked to her in years, but hopefully.
Shout out the ex.
Shout out the ex. So I literally moved to Santa Cruz and kind of just partied, did a lot of psychedelics and shit. And then I was like, wait, I need to do something for my life here. I need to get on the right track. So luckily I did have this big old fund that was saved up. It was $20,000 my parents had put away for me for college. So I was like, I can go to school if I pay for a business trade school. I was very blessed to have that. And the business trade school I went to was called Purimind. So that was around 19 or 20. I did a 2-year accelerated program where they teach you all the programs like Ableton, Logic, Pro Tools, Reason, and they get you really in depth with okay, here's how you master a song. And I was thrown into it in a way where I was like, this is crazy. It was almost too much information at once, and it took a few years after that to really start implementing that knowledge and start using it. but it was very beneficial in a lot of ways. I still refer to my notes from back then, even though it was like 10 years ago.
Hell yeah, bro. No, that's the way to do it. Honestly, I was kind of the same. The regular school path wasn't for me, so I went to a film school, and it was an accelerated program like that, 2 years.
What film school?
Full Sail.
Oh, cool. I've heard of them. Okay.
I won't get into it, but yeah.
I won't get into it. There's some stories there.
For sure. But yeah. So you said you went there in like, I thought you said 19, but was it 09?
It was 2011, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when, because I remember that's the year that I had to get a MacBook to go to the school, and I was a very PC person. I was like, I was all about the PCs and stuff for gaming, and I was like, I don't know, man, I don't know about this Mac life. So I got a MacBook hesitantly, and then, in 2011, that MacBook actually, random story, that MacBook lasted me 11 years, which is pretty good for a computer, like, especially a laptop where you're bringing it around, banging it around and stuff.
No doubt, man. No, MacBooks are mules, bro. Like, it's weird because it's so similar. Like, I got a MacBook through Full Sail when I started, and I use that thing for 10, 11 years too. It's really crazy.
Wow.
Like
That's funny that we have these synchronicities from like film and music school.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So what'd you do after you graduated that school?
So right after I graduated, it's actually a very sad kind of like right after, because I couldn't get a job in audio. I was still kind of a noob in a lot of ways to the audio world. So these people in the audio world that I was in were kind of like, you have to be very, very skilled to even get an internship and stuff. So I started working at a fucking Dollar Tree right after. It was basically like me slapping myself in the face right after. Like, I was like, I need money, but like, I'm just a college student who's like broke and like used all my money to go to this expensive school. And I'm kind of like, what do I do now? But at the same time, I was still like grinding on like all the stuff I had learned. I'm like making crazy beats and stuff at home. But it was like, it wasn't really paying the bills or anything. So it was much later, like 5 years later after graduating from that college, like that I was like, I'm going to start selling beats. I'm going to start, writing hooks. I'm going to start, making tracks that actually people could listen to and not just be like, oh, this is cool and trippy. Like I tried to make some stuff that's like, oh, this is like a song. It's like a piece, A
little mass appeal.
Yeah, a little more of a repeatability too is the thing. Like if something is catchy, I hope that people like play it again. And that's always the biggest compliment is when people say like, oh, I can't stop listening to this one song or something.
When did you start seeing progress in that hustle, in that goal?
That one took a while too. Yeah. I would say it was slow at first, and it's still slow sometimes now, to be honest. But the progress that I started to see was probably around 2018 was when I started to actually like get some people that were like, oh, I fuck with this music, like keep doing what you're doing and shit. And like, it gave me a more confidence on stage too. Like if I'm performing for like 50 people who don't know my music, I'm like, if I do it the way it sounded on the album or close to it, someone's gonna fuck with it now. Cause I know somebody did online,
So you're making money with it now?
A little bit here and there, yeah. It's definitely, it's like a part-time job kind of, because I am still looking for other work. But yeah, it takes up about 8 hours a day. So I mean, I treat it like a job,
That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. And to anybody watching, bro, like he started this in 11, and he said it didn't start really picking up till 2018, bro. Like it's not an amount of time that you can know that you got to work. You just got to work. And if it's what you love, you just got to keep doing it.
100%. I feel that I get behind that 100%.
When did you start doing shows?
That actually started when I was fairly young. I was in high school when I started like actually getting good at guitar. So it was like the second year of high school, I had this battle of the bands, and I'll never forget. The guy said, like, the guy who was like organizing the show, he was like, we have one rule and one rule only for this battle of the bands. You cannot swear on stage. And I was like, fuck this, like right off the bat. So I like went up on stage, I grabbed the mic, and I'm just like, what the fuck is up, Nevada? The whole fucking, like everyone in that crowd was just like, yeah. And it's like, it started a mosh pit at that show and shit. Like, and the guy hated me for it. Like the organizer literally despised me, but he had to give it to us. Like we got the crowd the most hyped and shit. So that's when I knew like performing was definitely. I'm like so comfortable on a stage now because not that you have to yell and swear, but you can if you have the mic, you know, you have the power to like, you know, talk to the people to get to their hearts and stuff. So I always thought that was a really fun thing performing.
For sure, bro, and that's awesome, man. And how often do you perform now?
I'd say like once every 2 weeks. I try to at least get to an open mic if I'm not booked for a normal show, just because it's good practice. And if you don't keep up with it, you get nervous more, and it's easier to kind of be like self-conscious if you don't do it a lot. So every 2 weeks I do at least something in the Petaluma or the Novato area where I live.
That's awesome, for real. And that's interesting that you do it every 2 weeks, and you said because, you know, it keeps you confident and keeps you in practice. I interviewed one guy, and he said something that I thought was an interesting take, and he said, you know, if you're not performing locally, you're not a local musician.
I like that. Yeah, because you can't just be on the internet. Like, you got to do something where people are really person-to-person feeling you. Like, if you're just posting on your Instagram every day, which I know I do, but I mean, you do too, but like if you're not sitting there like working on something like with people, it can feel a little lonely. It can feel a little bit like I'm separated from the rest of the community, you know?
Also, shows get you real supporters on Instagram. You know, social media is absolutely part of this hustle, but when you go to shows and you connect with people in person, those are the people that comment and like your stuff, and they mean it. They're not just doing the fire emojis because he commented on my last post, so I'm gonna comment on his, you know, like that's the real connections. That's the real people that will support you and be with you your whole career.
I'm sure, yeah, that's maybe how you've gotten some of your clients too, is meeting people like, and you're like, hey, I could interview you and we could work out something for promotion. And that's a genius way to do it. I think some of the best connections I've made, who, whether they buy my stuff on Bandcamp or they just pay for a mixing service, like those are usually people I meet in person for sure.
Absolutely, bro. And I don't know, do you know about Music IQ? Have we talked about Music IQ?
No, but I'm interested. I definitely heard of it.
I'll tell you more about it later. I've talked about it in too many interviews. I don't want to make people listen to me again, but I'll send you a reel about it.
Not until they pay me, then I'll talk about it on camera.
Oh no, I've talked about it too much on camera. But I think that local musicians, the guys that are performing, have the highest chance of really making money with this app. But I'll tell you about that later.
Very cool.
What have been your biggest accomplishments?
So one of the biggest ones was definitely like around that same age of the Battle of the Bands thing. I got to play a show with Carlos Santana's son, which I thought was super cool because Carlos was in the audience, and I was like, oh my god, that's like a legend, you know?
Were you playing guitar?
And I was playing guitar
in front of Carlos Santana. Oh my!
I know, bro. It still gives me chills to this day. And then also at that same show, there was a reporter who was with the Rolling Stone magazine who. He had been working with the Rolling Stone magazine since the 60s. He was like an old cat. And he literally said, after I got done playing, he said, how about that last singer? He was kind of a Jagger type. And I was like, that's crazy that he fucking referenced Jagger. Like, he wrote about Jagger. Like, I'm like, he literally compared me to like fucking like the reason the Rolling Stone was called the Rolling Stone. Like, so I don't know, that just tripped me the fuck out. But it in a way, it was humbling, and it was like keep going. It was one of those things, just keep on the music thing forever. But then recently, one of my biggest accomplishments is kind of a smaller one. I hit 23K streams on a song, which I feel like to me is a huge number. And it wasn't even my song; it was a feature I did. I did a hook for this guy, MJ Spritz, who's a shout out MJ. He's a really good UK producer and rapper. And he just had a thing he had written for me. He's like, could you sing this hook for me? I sang it, and straight up that song just skyrocketed in views somehow. And I don't know. It's just like another sign. Keep going.
That's amazing, bro. I got chills. I got chills when you talk about the Jagger thing, bro. Like,
thank you, dude. Oh, other recent success of my own songs, like my own solo work. I hit 12,000 streams on She Took My Soul, and that was like a dark song that like kind of helped me out of like getting over a relationship. And that one, writing that song was one of the fastest songs I ever wrote and produced. So it was a trip to me that song got more love than some songs that I put like 2 fucking days into. I'm like, how the fuck do you guys like this shit that I whipped out on a bad morning at 6 a.m.? Like,
That's how
so
it goes.
funny. You never know what people are gonna vibe with, though. That's the other thing.
Absolutely, man. You just got to keep doing it. You just got to keep trying. Exactly. You'll find a hit.
Yeah, exactly. So for any young artists out there, like who haven't made that many songs yet or something, and you're like, oh, what do I do next? Just do whatever you feel is good. You know, just keep making stuff that you enjoy.
And stop asking people if you should drop the song. Just drop the song. Just drop it.
Oh, please. I totally agree. I'm like, I don't know, man. Is it good? Play it. Like, okay. Like, I've seen that post like 80 times in the last month.
Facts, man. Now, I know you've had some crazy obstacles that you've overcome, and that's in life and in music. Tell me about those.
We can get into obstacles. Definitely, I'll just flat out say it. One of the biggest ones for me was cocaine. Like, because I had a bad addiction to it, and it was really holding me back. I was just using my money on it. I was spending a lot of time thinking about it. And more so than I've done harder shit than that, but like that was the one that to me seemed like, okay, it's okay to do because it's like classy or cool or something, or it has this like kind of like movie star kind of quality to it or something. But that's all bullshit, man. That stuff fucked my life up. Like I can say I would be a lot further as a musician right now had I never touched that drug, for sure.
When did that start?
I was 23 when I started using it.
What got you to the point to give it up?
It had to get bad, man. It got to the point where I don't want to go too into gross details, but it got into like I could tell I was like on the verge of death. And then with the stuff that's been happening recently with fentanyl being laced in it, I mean, anytime you do it, you're basically putting your life on the line. And that was also one of the things that I had a friend who was very close die. And I saw that, somebody, it was like almost like a RIP situation. And I'm so glad he's still here. But he was hooked up to breathing tubes, and I was seeing him on FaceTime, and I'm just like, dude, I can't do this shit anymore. Like, there's no way I don't want to chance it like that, you know?
Did you go to rehab?
I did AA, actually. I know it's AA Anonymous, so you're not really supposed to talk about it, but I can say the program really helped me out in a big way because I found a lot of love from like people my age and way older who just wanted me to be happy. And it's not even about, oh, like drugs aren't good or drugs are bad or whatever. They're just like, if you're not happy, if this is fucking up your life, you shouldn't be doing it. And I think it's a very seldom person that can utilize a substance like cocaine or something like that and get farther in life with it. I think a lot of times our brain tricks us into finding ways to do something that may be harming us, like even alcohol, I have to say, and I'm not saying you can't never have one drink, like a lot of people are good like that, but if you're finding yourself drinking a whole 6-pack or a 12-pack in a day, I mean, maybe, check in and just go to a fucking meeting. I don't know, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just like good people. So there's always a way out too if you feel trapped by these things, and weed too, I'll put it out there. I barely ever smoke. I smoke a little bit now, but like if you find yourself hitting bongs for like 90% of the day, like maybe like, I don't know, you don't have to go to a meeting, but just chill on the fucking bong for a little bit. Because it's fun to smoke and shit. I get that. It's hella fun to be high, but it's like, you gotta ask yourself, are you still doing something that's gonna be, at the end of the day, you're gonna look back and be like, I'm glad I did that?
Facts, yeah, man, facts. And that is, it's funny you bring up weed because for the first time in my life, I am consciously trying to cut back. Now, I'll always need weed. Like, weed is very medicinal for me, but
yes, I agree.
I smoked so much. I since I started smoking when I was 18, I smoked more than I needed to. And now that I've cut back, I've started to see how, like, if you treat it like a medicine, if you treat a couple of hits of a bowl like you're taking a pill, you don't need to feel high, but it takes care of all those emotional things that it does for
anxiety. Yes. I think it's definitely a better remedy than some pharmaceuticals out there, for sure. Like, if you're taking 3 pills because you're depressed or anxious, you could probably solve that with like a hit of weed at night.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
For sure.
Absolutely, bro.
I'm glad we make that distinction. I'm not saying weed is bad. I'm just saying I had to moderate too. Basically.
Absolutely,
yeah.
And I'm cutting back because I need to save some money.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. I mean, even though it's legal, the shit does get taxes on it, and it gets up there.
Yeah, you Cali people. It's not legal where I am.
You still scoring bags? Damn.
It is, bro. It's so crazy.
Really?
Man.
It's like, what's the eighth cost where you're at?
It depends. I mean, for good, it's 30. You know, you can find the guys doing for 20 or whatever, but that's some garbage. You know. Like,
yeah, that makes sense.
And that's not medicine.
How it was and what state are you in?
I'm in Alabama.
Alabama. Okay, that's cool. I want to come out to that area in like Nashville, Alabama, Louisiana, because I hear there's like cool music stuff around that area.
Sure. Tennessee, I wouldn't say Alabama so much, but definitely Tennessee. Georgia has a lot going on, but yeah, no, it's if you do, hit me up, man. Alabama is exactly what you think it is. You know, I tell people I'm by ATL because when I say Alabama, they're like,
that's all funny. I've been to the Atlanta airport a few times. I've never actually chilled in Georgia, but on my way to South Carolina, where I have some family, I've been to I always go through the Atlanta airport. So that's actually, so how far would the Atlanta airport be, if you know where that is, from where you are?
It's about an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh shit. Well, next time I come to South Carolina, I'm gonna hit you up.
Do that, bro. For real. Do that.
That would be so sick. Yeah.
What does success in life look like to you and in music?
So success in life, I would say, a little different than success in music. So to distinctly like put them both in perspective for me, like my success in life is having a roof over your head, being able to maintain that roof, and like it's like just having the love for your family for sure, and keeping your family close, or the ones that you love and that are good to you, keeping those people close. Success in music, I think, is more about it's a spiritual connection. It's like if you feel like really like you are making something that is beneficial to you, that's helping you grow, it'll probably help someone else grow. It'll probably be beneficial in some way. Like example, like I had this song 2 years ago called Melatonin, and it's one song that like a few people have told me they really love, but one person said to me, this song helped me get over depression. It helped me go to sleep at night when I was not able to sleep, and I was so depressed I couldn't sleep. And I was like, that really hit home for me, because I was like, I just made that kind of on a whim as a love song for a girl, and this other random chick found it and just she loved it so much she like didn't kill herself basically. And I was like, damn, I never thought my music could heal someone like that, you know?
That's the dream, bro. That is, I mean, there's no better reason to make music. There's no better impact you could have with your music than to save someone's life.
100%, yeah. And what you're doing too right now, I mean, you're helping people get exposure. You're helping people who are struggling artists. So it's like you're also putting people on that maybe to a new fan base that would never have seen them. So thank you for what you're doing, you know?
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. If you could go back, what's up?
Oh, one other question. Shout out your YouTube channel, and mine's Nick Tara. Just just search Nick Tara. But I want to know yours, because I want to fucking make sure I go like some of your videos later and stuff.
I appreciate that. It's Karikter did it.
Karikter did it. Okay, cool. With a K.
Yep. 2 Ks.
Sweet.
Did it spelled normal.
I like that. I like that you spelled it different though, because that gives it like it's your own thing.
Gives it character.
Gives a character. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's enough dad jokes. All right. If you could go back and tell your younger self anything, what would it be?
Ooh, see, don't do too much blow, kid. No, I would say, really, don't get too caught up on relationships. I would say, if you have a relationship, be respectful, be loving to your partner. But if a girl does you wrong or something, don't get so down on yourself that you like can't do anything for 6 months or get depressed. Because like there will be other fish in the sea, you know, there will be another opening to find a good love. And like, just because somebody's not serious way when you're younger doesn't mean you won't find someone later that is, you know?
Absolutely, man.
Love is a big thing, so.
What I try to tell people, younger people that are struggling in relationships, is if a relationship isn't making your life better, just get out of it. For real. Do you have anything coming up that you want to talk about?
Yeah. I have a album I'm working on that I would love people to hear. It's going to come out I'm gonna set a date for it right now off the bat because we didn't have a date. I'm gonna say December 10th, 12/10. That's the announcement. On December 10th, The Squad, the album, is coming out. It's a Nick Tara album, fully produced. Well, about 8 producers altogether on this album, and then there's gonna be over 12 different artists on this album. So I'm trying to do like a Dr. Dre The Chronic type of album where it's just like the whole way through is just interesting. There's some songs where I'm not even rapping, it's just other people, and I just kind of was feeling it. And you know, I did the whole beat sometimes, but like had another dude spit my bars or something. It's just a very interesting album. It's different than anything I've ever done. So look out for The Squad.
That's a lot of people involved, bro. How long you been working on that?
This is actually came to fruition about 6 months ago. It was an idea by the Broke Man, who's a UK artist who I work with a lot. And he just said, hey, like, why don't we do like a collaborative album and just get a bunch of people on it? And it started kind of snowballing into this really fun thing where we have a group chat now with like 15 people in it, and we're all like shooting back and forth files, and everyone's just like on board to promote the shit out of it when it comes out. And it never really works out like you think it will, but I think it might be the album that like actually puts me on the map.
Hell yeah, man. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of coordination that you've done to get it done. I'm excited to hear that, bro. You should be proud of yourself for that to even be a thing.
You'll be one of the first people I send the link to, bro, for sure.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Is there any kind of sentiment that you would like to communicate to anyone watching, artists or people or anything in between?
That's a good. I like that as a kind of like ending note. Let's see. Sentiment. I think, you know, it's bad, but peace and love. You have to have forgiveness for yourself sometimes. You have to have forgiveness for others sometimes. And keeping it real too with yourself and keeping it real with others is very important in this world.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Is there anything I didn't think to ask you about?
Hey, I think you're pretty good. I mean, you did a damn good job. I like your interviewing style.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you for your time. Honestly, thank you for all the golden pieces of advice and sharing your experiences and your struggles, man. I really appreciate it. This has been Characterized It with Nick Tara. Follow him up on all the socials. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
Not what I'm about. So let me tell you one thing that I know for a fact. There's no turning back when you get on the track with Nick T. I don't give a damn anymore. If you don't like who I am or what I stand for, you can fuck off. Cause I've always been nice. You don't know, you really haven't lived my life. I don't give a damn anymore. If you don't like who I am or what I stand for, you can fuck off. Cause I've always been nice.